family, and welcome to another amazing episode of Praise Accelerates Grace with Shanae Blackway. I am not only excited, I am feeling bubbly, I am feeling light, I am feeling like a kid again. And today our amazing guest is definitely the reason why I am feeling all of these things. I have butterflies, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we are sometimes so confused about who and where we should go to. And this is definitely one of my main go-tos. My beautiful, my vivacious, hey, my sexy princess, the Princess Nakedi. Hoe gaan het?
Goed en jy?
Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I am super duper. I'm great.
I'm glad.
I am happy to be here.
First of all, it is such an honor. And I'm so happy that you took the time to come and join me on something that is not only inspiring, but educational at the same time. And I know that as the founder of Princess Nakedi Foundation, you obviously have a story as to why you have decided to also help others and be that beacon of hope. So, as we all know, you obviously are here for a reason. And you are representing with the colors. We always say, because once you have cancer, your pink becomes the only thing you wear.
True.
And I think we've tried all the shades, ne?
We have all shades of pink. That's us.
That's what we call ourselves now. The 50 shades of pink. Or is it too soon to make the 50 joke?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll leave it to
later. Okay.
Later,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's go back to where it all starts. And for many of us, it is obviously the day you are diagnosed. Can you just tell myself and the viewers how this journey started for you?
My journey began the real journey began in 2020. But I had felt a lump in October of 2019. So we had buried my brother's friend's mom. So I think I started being aware of breast cancer. And I always say, we know cancer, but we don't know about breast cancer. So I was washing, I'm a caterer by profession, I'm a chef by profession. So I'm washing this one morning, and I'm always like a wash and go girl. But this one morning I happened to palpate my breast on the right, and I felt something. And I remember saying to my mom, I felt a lump, but because I was on my cycle, I just dismissed it as just lymph nodes and carried on with life. It was 2019, October. It's a very busy season for any caterer. So I'm preparing for December, I'm preparing for Jan school fees and everything. And I just sort of put it on item number 13, I shelved it. 2020 in Feb, I'm in Bali on holiday, but there's this thing that keeps on bothering me because each time I touch it, I feel that it is bigger than the last time I felt it. So we came back on the 10th. On the 11th, I was already at the doctor's. And I remember my doctor asking me, how can I help you? And I said, I'm not sick, but I've got this thing that's bothering me. And we went and he checked it, did a physical examination, and he said it's definitely a lump. And the next step was a mammogram. So he sends me for a mammogram. I go back to my car, I sit in the car, I call around, and fortunately I get an opening for the following day. So I go for the mammogram, and I could see, on the face of the radiographer that she's picking up something that is worrisome. And obviously they picked up that I've got a malignant tumor. So I have to go back to the doctor. This is now the 12th. I made sure I go back to the doctor the same day because I did not want to sleep not knowing what was happening to me. And I went back to the doctor. Fortunately, he was still there. And it was cancer. And then he had to write me a referral letter for a biopsy. So the 14th of February will never be the same for me, ever. Because on the 14th of Feb, I was lying on my back, having a biopsy done, blood trickling down my back. That was my Valentine's. It was a bloody Valentine's. And so I waited for the results. So when I left the radiography rooms, they said to me, 3 to 7 working days. And first day it was fine, second day, by third day human nature kicked in, and I'm like, I'm gonna pull a fast one on the doctor. I am going to call the lab and ask for my results. So I'm gonna get my results before he gets them. And they checked the system, my results were not there. Called again, they showed me that they've got other results from the previous year. I said, not those ones. I want the ones for the biopsy. And so as I was waiting for the results, I remember thinking to myself, it is cancer, but I'm praying that it's not, you know. And I went back to the family history. I looked and looked and looked and looked. Can't think of anyone who had cancer. And it troubled me, like, how come? You know, but I said to God, I'm not going to ask why me, why now? Because if I say why me, who do I want it to be? And if I say why now, who am I? God decides everything. So the doctor calls me back on the 21st of Feb in the morning. He says to me, when can you come to see me? And then I thought he was speaking English. I thought he said, where are your results? And I remember saying to him, I'm also looking for them. And he says, I am saying, I've got your results. And my mind started racing. I called my brother for backup. My brother called his wife for backup. And before then I said to the doctor, I'll see you on Monday. He said, no, you're coming now. And I knew exactly what he meant. So here I am with my brother and his wife. We are driving to the doctor. And on the way, my brother decides that, nope, let's pray. So we prayed. I gathered my strength and went to the doctor. We get there. He's waiting for us. You know most the doctor's rooms. Yes. He's got the desk. He's on the other side of the desk and we are this side. My sister decided to sit outside and wait for us. So it's me here and it's my brother here, and he's got tissues. He's ready for me. He's got the brown envelope in front of him. And he opened the envelope and said, Princess, you've got triple negative breast cancer. Hearing triple negative, I said, praise God. Negative is good.
Yes.
Triple negative, even better.
Yeah.
So
three times no cancer.
Three times negative.
Yes.
I'm like, yes. My prayers were answered. And he looks at me, says, Princess, I said, you've got cancer. I think for about 30 seconds, I stared at him. I looked at my brother. And I don't know, but we started laughing. I don't know whether it was a way of comforting myself or what was happening. And I looked at him and I said, yes, I heard you. And the next step, I asked him what the next step was. He said, I'm going to refer you to a surgeon. And he told me that this is a well-renowned surgeon. She's had awards in breast cancer. I remember looking at him and saying, did the awards come in the shape of a breast? So my brother and I laugh again, you know. And I think at the time we were not laughing at what he was saying or what I said, but we were just laughing at the devil that, listen, we've prayed for people with cancer before, you know. And I think I have had more health challenges than anyone in life. So I was like, bring it on, you know, this time you've picked the wrong girl. Yes. So yeah, he refers me to Prof. Ben. I go to Prof. Ben. the following Monday, I was fortunate to get an appointment for the 24th. Monday evening, 10 o'clock, I'm at Mill Park Hospital. Who works at 10 o'clock in the evening? I'm sitting there. I'm with my best friend, Jasmine.
Yes.
We're waiting to see the doctor. My cousin and her partner also there. And we're waiting for this doctor. And I don't see a doctor. I'm looking around. I don't see a doctor. There's this lanky blonde who's doing ups and downs, like, you know. And I'm thinking, when is the doctor going to see us? And eventually, I think past 11, we see the surgeon.
And there again is the dedication of our oncology team, right? Unfortunately, there are so many people facing cancer. And I believe that you did not just go from praying for others, being diagnosed, believing that you will heal by mistake. It wasn't a mistake, right?
Definitely
and
not.
Obviously, it took a lot of advocacy from your side.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how important myself and maybe a viewer that's watching that needs to advocate for themselves, what can be the tools or what is the tools that you would recommend for our viewers that needs to advocate for their own health?
I always say that you must know your body, and that's very important because cancer is very sneaky. That's the reason why a lot of people always find cancer at the late stages. So when you know your body and you feel somehow, you know that there's a foreign thing in your body already. So when you do self-breast examinations, it helps because once you feel that lump, then you are able to decide what to do with that information. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of misdiagnosis. So you have to know your body. You have to do a self-breast examination. You have to make sure you don't have the risk factors, which is smoking, drinking, fatty foods, inactivity, all of those things. That's very important. And you have to tell the doctor and insist, that I feel this way, so that the doctor can do tests. Yeah, that's the best way of advocating for yourself because there's misdiagnosis and mismanagement in practices these days. I don't know what's happening, but it's like everybody's using AI and unnecessarily so. So when you say you've got a lump, they always say, no, it's just a lymph node and it's passing. But you must actually say to the doctor, I demand to have tests done.
And, as myself, viewers, I have been misdiagnosed 5 times. And that ultimately resulted in being diagnosed with a fibroadenoma in September of 2022. And my family and I celebrated because, yes, I have a lump in my body that does not belong there. But we're excited because at least it wasn't cancer. And unfortunately, so many doctors might miss it. And it is not always intentional. So it is very important to make sure that you advocate for yourself. I remember sitting in the offices and the doctors looking at me like, now you are looking for something. And unfortunately, I had to force my GP to refer me to a specialist. And I had to report back to work every single time and tell them, oh no, the doctor found nothing and it's benign and I am in pain for no reason. And if you are sitting at home and you feel like you are tired of complaining about the ache or the lump or that gut feeling, please know that it is not over until you are comfortable. Do not allow malpractice from doctors or the pressure from society to make you feel like you are feeling things. If anyone knows your body, it is definitely you. So, Princess, I think you are the queen of advocating. You had the necessary tools. You come from a family that obviously has taught you about the signs and the symptoms. And so many of our African young color women, we don't know these things. Even men are not aware of these little things. I want us to jump into your foundation, the Princess Nakedi Foundation. How did that come along? And can you just, to the viewers, obviously, that does not know what you guys do, explain to them what you guys do.
Before I explain what we do at Princess Nakedi Foundation, I just want to say, answer what you just said,
Yes.
or reiterate what you just said about, knowing this. I come from a pharmaceutical background. I was a medical rep, so I had knowledge of what is breast cancer, but it wasn't vast knowledge, and I had to go and read more about it, and also to check my family history and all of that. So that helped, but it's not everyone who has that background. It's not everyone who has that knowledge. And we always say knowledge is power. So when I started the Princess Nakedi Foundation, it was to empower women to say, listen, this is what you can do for yourself, to advocate for yourself. And when I lost my hair during chemo, so I had the first chemo, I had the second chemo, and this is in February of 2020. And I felt so dethroned. I've had long hair growing up, and I felt like my crown had been taken away from me. So when I started getting better from everything else, the whole process of chemo, reconstruction, radiation, I thought I'm going to empower women out there. So that's how the Princess Nakedi Foundation was born. And with this foundation, what we did, we wanted to restore dignity back to women. Because when you lose your hair, not only do you feel dethroned, but it's our femininity, the hair, the breasts, the hips. It's us women, So when you lose that, you lose your self-confidence, and that's like a real struggle. I could not recognize the person that was staring back at me in the mirror. I remember my dad joking about it and saying I look like my uncle. But to me, it wasn't a joke. Because I always thought I'm prettier than my uncle. And for the first time, I came face to face with cancer. I remember coming out of the chemo lounge, and there was a lady who was sitting and waiting for her appointment. She looked pale, old, pale, and I remember thinking to myself, am I gonna look like that as well? And it hit me so hard. It was like someone hit me with a baseball bat on my chest. And when I lost my hair, I felt like that. So I wanted women to feel safe. I wanted women to feel like we understand their struggle, which is real, by the way. I wanted them to feel that they are not alone. I had my family support throughout my journey. My brothers would fight over who's taking me for chemo. It was their me time. They would pack their fleece blankets, laptops, everything. So I wanted women out there to also feel loved through the Princess Nakedi Foundation and feel like they are not going to travel this journey alone. Because remember, being diagnosed with cancer is like having a lifetime membership to a social club. It just never ends. You see, you've got an oncologist, you've got a reconstructive surgeon, yes. You've got a surgeon, you've got a radiation oncologist, you've got the nurses, you've got the navigator. So it's a lot, it's a lot. And it's not everyone who's as fortunate as we are who, goes to private when that happens. There are other women who go to public hospitals. They queue up from as early as 5 o'clock, and they only get to see the doctor at 3 o'clock. Wow. So what we also do at Princess Nakedi Foundation is we work closely with Para.
Yes.
With Sister Pinky.
Yes.
And we collect groceries for them. Wow. So that she can prepare meals for them whilst waiting to see the doctors, whilst waiting for chemo. Because remember, you can't have chemo on an empty stomach. Like any other chronic medication, you can't have it on an empty stomach. So as Princess Nakedi Foundation, we do that. We launched officially last year in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. and the theme was Princess Ball.
Wow.
So we launched the foundation and we also launched the Princess Ball. And what we were saying to cancer patients was that for that one day in October, feel like a princess, wear your ball gown, wear your crown, you know, and forget about the struggles with cancer. And that's exactly what we did. So all the events that we do at Princess Nakedi Foundation, instead of having people sit there with boxes and boxes of tissues, we do awareness, but we do it in a different angle. I think that's the best way of driving a message across. Because I look back, like you always say, that the age difference between you and me is like a life sentence. So back in the days when nurses used to go from house to house, teaching people about the use of condoms and all, what they used to do is they used to demonstrate using a broomstick. So it is funny, but that's what they used to do. So they would take a condom and roll it on the broomstick, and then they say, this is how you use a condom, and then you get on with the work.
Yes.
And looking back, I'm thinking, oh, no wonder our population is so high, because people don't want to talk about certain things.
Yes.
You know, it's taboo to talk about the breasts. It's taboo to talk about the balls. It's taboo to talk about condoms and such.
Yes.
You know, but if you're going to empower people, you have to give them the whole information, which is what we are doing. Okay, we're doing it in a different angle where people don't cry, but when they get home and they sit down and they think about it, the message is delivered.
Yes.
You know, so we had a simulated boarding this year in March.
Yes.
And we're boarding for inspiration. We are boarding for awareness. Because remember, the plane and cancer, the journey is the same.
Turbulence.
The turbulence, the detours, the struggles,
the delays.
Yes. You know, you're supposed to do a reconstruction, but because your
blood count is too high.
Or your immune system is low, you can't do it. You know, so that's bringing across the message, but in a way that the patient will never forget.
And ladies and gentlemen, as you guys have heard it here, unfortunately, again, we have come to the end of such an amazing show. I know that my line is always open when I have to speak to you, and I wish that you guys have the same treasure as I have. Princess Nakedi Foundation is but one part of what this beautiful lady embodies, and I wish we had so much more time to discuss her journey and how she has overcome cancer by going back to where it all started for her. From Praise Accelerates Grace, myself as your host, I want to thank you, my sister, for taking the time. We appreciate you. You know that you are loved. You look beautiful. If I have not said it enough, she loves hearing that. But again, please do stay tuned, and we cannot see you guys on the next one.